Happy July 3rd, and welcome to the weekly update with the mayor and the mayor. Kyle Johansson is on vacation in Connecticut and enjoying his time with his mom. So I'll be the one providing the weather forecast for the next 7 days. We had someone reach out and wanted to know if we could also include things like the pollen index or maybe the ultraviolet ray index or the UV index. And so we're going to hopefully, as we move forward, start to include more and more information that might be of value to those who watch. So for today, starting with today, weather-wise, it is extremely warm outside with heat index values around 100 degrees. The forecast is 93 degrees. And then tonight dropping down to about 72, but we are under a heat advisory until 8 p.m. this evening because of the heat. The pollen index it's medium, but depending on what index you're looking at, one indice says that the grass pollen is really high. Another one is that the dust and dander index is really high. So depending on which one you look at, know that the pollen counts on average are kind of in the medium range. UV index is very high. It's in the 8 to 10 range on a 10-point scale when it comes to UV today. Looking forward, again, as I mentioned, 72 tonight, late night anyway, with a humidity up in the 82% for humidity. They're looking at scattered thunderstorms this evening, so keep that in mind, which hopefully we don't have any in the 10 p.m. time frame because that's when we have the city's 4th of July fireworks display on the 3rd of July tonight out on East State Street, but can be seen from several vantage points throughout the city. So I'll speak more to that in a minute. Tomorrow, it looks like the high is going to be 87 with a low of 71, 57% humidity with some scattered thunderstorms. Looking at Friday, 88 is the high with a low of 65, and again, scattered thunderstorms throughout the evening and day into Saturdays. It's going to be 87 degrees with a low of 61, mostly sunny. 10% humidity. Sunday, 89 degrees as the high with a low of 62, partly cloudy. Monday, 91 degrees. We're jumping back up again with a low of 67, partly cloudy, 10% chance of rain. And then into Tuesday, it's going to be 86 as the high and 66 as the low with AM showers on Tuesday. So that's it. But again, heat advisory. Be careful out there, especially if you're exercising or doing strenuous activities outside, strenuous work outside. Be careful. Keep yourself well hydrated and note that the heat index it's high. There's an advisory. Fire hydrant flushing around the city at this point, in this week anyway. They're looking at Canterbury Drive, Coventry Lane, and Sussex Drive. Those are all over on the south side of the city. If there is fire hydrant flushing taking place in your neighborhood, know that when the fire department does the hydrant flushing, the sediment does get stirred up and it can discolor your water for a short period of time. Encouraging people, if you know that there's fire hydrant testing going on in your neighborhood, and you notice that there is a discoloration of water, don't wash your clothes, especially whites. It could affect things in your washing machine. I mentioned the fireworks display this evening here in the city of Athens. It will take place at 10 p.m. out on East State Street. There's other activities taking place. The market on East State Street will have a car show, so you can check that out. That's at 5 p.m. The 4th of July, the city business will come to a screeching halt. City building will be closed. City functions, obviously, emergency services, and your wastewater and water treatment plant will still be operational, but everything else that is not mandatory will not be open. The city pool will be open they will be free to the public at 4 p.m. till closing on the 4th of July. So keep that in mind. July 12th through the 20th is Ohio Brew Week here in the city of Athens. And I've spoken about this before, but worth mentioning again. Several things going on. First call will be on Court Street with a closure between Washington and Carpenter from 4 to 10 p.m. It's a DORA event, so DORA will be allowed. The closing will begin at 3 p.m. and reopen at 11 p.m. On the 17th of July, Top Deck dinner will be taking place, and that's typically, and I would probably go so far as to say always, on the 6th floor of the parking garage. I know there have been several times when there was a significant rain event that occurred and everybody migrated down to the 5th floor, which is great. It just creates a sheltered space in which to have said event. The 19th of July will be the Brewbecue down at the former train depot, or should I say always the depot, off of West Union Street. And then on July 20th is the last call, again, where we close down Court Street, have several bands that are playing. It will go from 1 to 11 p.m. DORA, as always is the case, will be in effect, but there will also be a area where the stages are that will be under an F2 permit. And so drinks purchased within the event space will have to be purchased through Ohio Brew Week via token to buy beer at the vendors that are within the cordoned area. Upcoming events. We've got this evening, the Environment and Sustainability Commission will be meeting on the 1st floor in the Berry Conference Room. And that is at 6 p.m. July 8th, which is Monday at 5:30 p.m., will be the Historic Preservation Commission, also meeting in the Berry Conference Room. On Tuesday, July 9th, the Board of Zoning Appeals will be meeting here at 7 p.m. in council chambers. And then Wednesday, July 10th, will be the Municipal Arts Commission meeting at 5:30 p.m. over at Arts West on West State Street. Last thing I have for our weekly update is a proclamation that I'd like to read, because this is a special month. It is Parks and Recreation Month here in the city of Athens. So proclamation. Whereas parks and recreation programs are an integral part of communities throughout this country and the city of Athens. And whereas our parks and recreation programs are vitally important to establishing and maintaining a quality of life in our communities, ensuring the health of all citizens, and contributing to the economic and environmental well-being of our community. And whereas parks and recreation programs build healthy, active communities that aid in the prevention of chronic diseases, provide therapeutic recreation services to all those who are mentally or physically disabled, and also improve the mental and environmental health of all citizens. And whereas Parks and Recreations programs increase the community's economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of local tax base, increased tourism, and attract and retention of businesses, and crime reduction. And whereas Parks and Recreation areas are fundamental to the environmental well-being of our community. And whereas parks and natural recreation spaces improve water quality, protect groundwater, prevent flooding, improve the quality of the air we breathe, provide vegetative buffers for development, and produce habitat for wildlife. And whereas our parks and natural recreation areas ensure the ecological beauty of our community and provide a space for children and adults to connect with nature and recreation outdoors. And whereas the U.S. House of Representatives has designated July as Parks and Recreation Month, now therefore I, Steve Patterson, the mayor of the great city of Athens, Ohio, do hereby proclaim July of 2024 as Parks and Recreation Month and recognize the Athens Arts, Parks and Recreation Department and all of their facilities right here in the amazing city of Athens, Ohio. All right. Well, I will give a little teaser. We still don't know when we're going to do this, but Scott and Ryan and I, along with Kyle Johansson and potentially our DEIA coordinator, Lacey Rogers, will take a field trip to Kilvert, or formerly known as, and hopefully in the future renowned as, Tablertown, a Black community here in Athens County, and do a little expose, I guess, with David Butcher, who is the curator for the Athens County People of Color, I believe, museum in Tablertown that recognizes the history of Tablertown, which really is fascinating to know the history or to understand the history of Tablertown. So we'll be taking a little road show at some point. Again, still trying to figure out when we're going to do it, but we will be doing it soon. That said, thanks for tuning in, and please join me again next week for the next weekly update with the mayor and Kyle Johansson. Again, he will not be here, but he'll be here in spirit. Take care.